I'm going to show you how to become a graphic designer with no prior graphic design experience or even knowing how to use graphic design or whatever. Really exciting stuff to show you guys today. So I'm going to go over a business plan that I've thought of over the last couple of days. I'm not going to take action on it, so I'm incentivized to make this video as good as possible, essentially. Basically, how it goes is I'm going to show you how to make up to around $5,000 a month as a graphic designer with zero knowledge in graphic design or any experience for that matter when it comes to graphic design. I was connected with a business called Penji because the CEO at one of my companies uses them on a very regular basis, and we've completed a crap ton of projects on them. And the other night I just thought of a really creative way to commit arbitrage with Penji, and essentially it allows you to make anywhere from, I'd say probably like 2,000 a month all the way up to around 5,000. And then at the end of the video I'll also show you how to scale this stream of income past 5 to kind of like 10K per month, basically passively. Just to reiterate, this is not an opportunity that I'll be personally pursuing, but I just figured I'd put it out there because I'm curious to see if it actually works, and I genuinely believe it will be a quick win for you. Anyways, here's the game plan. So this whole thing kind of falls under the whole like drop servicing space. And what you're going to do is, first of all, you're going to go create Upwork and Fiverr accounts. Upwork and Fiverr is essentially they're kind of like freelancing platforms that allows freelancers to get connected with people who need freelancing. Once you create the accounts, make sure to get it verified, connect a bank account, etc., and make sure you have a very nice clean looking bio. And if you're curious on how to write the bio, I've gone ahead and written an example here. This is based on the graphic designer that I work with, and he's been on, I think, Upwork for like 8 years. He's one of the top rated designers, and he's probably done close to like $500,000 in revenue through Upwork itself. So this is a very like optimized bio essentially. Feel free to use this as a template. Do not copy this word for word. I promise you. You know, I don't want like 50,000 people with this exact bio on Upwork. It's not going to convert anymore, obviously, right? So just rejig it in your own words and use something like this for your Upwork and Fiverr bio. And essentially, you're going to start offering graphic design services and Adobe services on these platforms. Just start by bidding on every single graphic design job you can possibly kind of like come across. And once you get your first job, you're going to want to go ahead and create a Penji account. So what Penji is, it's kind of like a graphic design outsourcing platform. Essentially, they have a huge team of designers, probably like 100 designers or something. And you hire them on like a fixed monthly fee. Essentially, you would give them any type of design work, they would be able to get it done. And essentially, you would just deliver that to the client. So the reason why I know they work is because at one of my other companies, Sim, who's the CEO, has used them for a bunch of projects. You can see like right here, like these are all the completed projects that we've had. And, you know, it basically scrolls on infinitely just because we've been using them for so long. And right now we're doing 2 projects on them. The reason why I have to keep it blurred is just because it's for my other company. So I don't want to like give too many secrets away. So yeah, essentially once you get paid, right, you go ahead and go to Penji, you create an account, sign up for their most basic plan. Like I don't recommend using any of their slightly more expensive plans, only kind of go onto them later on, essentially. But it's $4.99, they have a 30-day guarantee, so essentially in the first 30 days of you signing up, you would have already taken payment for a couple of jobs, hopefully, and you basically have 30 days to make essentially $500, and anything above that, it's pure profit for you. And just in case, you know, you don't actually end up making $500, they have a 30-day money-back guarantee. So if you don't make $500, you could just go ahead and ask them for a refund. Now, here's how you make some serious money with this. Basically, you want to go on LinkedIn, right? And you want to search part-time graphic design jobs, and you want to find all of the part-time graphic design roles and make sure it's a remote position. Okay, it's really important that it has to be remote. You can't go into an office and, you know, do the work from there because obviously they'll see that you're not doing the work. Make sure it's a remote position, and before you apply, you're going to need a portfolio, right? So once you have Penji, anytime you have like spare capacity, what you're going to do is you're just going to ask Penji to design a bunch of random stuff for you for really big companies. I'm talking Nike, I'm talking Amazon, I'm talking Google, right? Like really big companies and small to medium-sized brands. So these are going to be brands that people wouldn't have necessarily heard of, but you really like. So you understand the brand intimately enough to be able to do designs for them. And that's how you're going to build out a portfolio, right? So after you have a really banging portfolio, what you're going to do is you're going to apply for part-time graphic design jobs that is completely remote, meaning you can work from anywhere. Because each graphic design job you secure, if you're working for like a British or American or Canadian or Australian company, guess what? Each part-time role is gonna pay you anywhere from like $1,000 to $2,000 a month, right? Just make sure it has to be remote and it has to be part-time. Later on, once you start building your own team, that's when you can kind of like make it a bit more full-time. And you know, if you stick to this consistently, I think if you just start building up reputation on Upwork and Fiverr, you could probably start making anywhere from $2,000 to $5,000 a month. But let me show you how to actually scale this into like a 6-figure opportunity. What you're gonna do is, once you get some part-time jobs, right? And also once you start consistently pulling in jobs from Upwork and Fiverr, you're gonna wanna add every piece of work you've ever done for a client onto your Upwork and Fiverr profiles to build up that portfolio. You're gonna slowly switch out the work for the huge brands and just continue building out your portfolio essentially for the job applications. And then what you're also going to do is every client or every boss that you work with or for, you're gonna hassle them for testimonials. And I'm not talking kind of like just like text testimonials, because those are very easily fakeable. Try to get as many video testimonials as possible, because what's going to happen is when you apply for jobs, no employee in the world ever has video testimonials from their previous bosses. So what you're going to do is you're going to apply with a bunch of video references of people that have hired you in the past. And then what you're going to do is you're going to hire some virtual assistants, right? And you can use websites such as onlinejobs.ph. I've personally hired a crap ton of VAs from onlinejobs.ph. Their English is always very good because in the Philippines, I think they used to be colonized by some Western nation essentially. So a lot of Filipinos, they speak very, very good English and they have a brilliant American accent. They're also relatively cheap, so you can hire really solid VAs for anywhere from like $3 to $5 an hour. Or if you want to pay like full-time salaries, you can hire really good ones from anywhere from like $300 all the way up to around $600 per month. So essentially you'd hire VAs using sites like onlinejobs.ph that is completely offshore. And what you're going to start to do is you're going to start using the VAs to communicate between your Upwork clients and your Fiverr clients and your kind of like part-time jobs and Penji. So anytime Penji sends a message, you get the VA to constantly check it and then ping that message across to your job or your contractors at Fiverr or whatever, right? So it's just like the VA acts as a middleman in terms of communication to plug those platforms directly so that you can communicate on Slack, you can communicate on Upwork, you can communicate on Fiverr. Like the messaging is all going to be taken care of. And then what you're going to do is you're going to use all of your time to focus on locking more jobs in so that you can hire more VAs to essentially use the graphic design services provided by Penji. And eventually, what you can even do is just get off of Upwork and Fiverr completely and literally just work at applying at more part-time jobs, right? Because each part-time job is paying you a monthly salary of whatever retainer it might be. And all you got to do is essentially attend the interviews, jump on the team calls, that's it. Everything else is literally taken care of for you by Penji and your VAs. And eventually, if you really want to be hands-off with the business, what you got to do is essentially just hire a VA with absolutely perfect English, with a really solid accent in terms of either being British or American, right? And you ask them to apply for the jobs and do the interviews on your behalf. And I think that's how you can essentially scale it to being kind of like a 10 to 20,000 per month opportunity. So if you actually end up trying this, I'm super curious on how it's gonna go. If you actually do this and end up making money, then feel free to just drop me an email at boyan@plethora.com, because I'm actually curious to see if this works or not. Below is a link to Penji, and it is an affiliate link just for transparency. So feel free to not use it if you don't want to support my channel. Like, honestly, I don't really care. If you do use it, there's literally no benefit for you. I just get a very small percentage of what you pay to Penji. So that's it. Hope you enjoyed this video. I'll see you in the next one.